I've paid for the seat.
Oh my God. You don't need to fucking flip me off. It's assault. Fuck you. Jesus Christ, you fucking assaulted me. You fucking like flip me over those witnesses.
She wouldn't move her feet.
You wouldn't move your feet.
You were sleeping. You wouldn't move your feet.
That's you. I have to go home. I'm tired.
Too bad. Goodbye. Alright, so the train's not going anywhere. Girl, get off the train. Come on now.
We were the ones that missed.
You were wrong. You were wrong.
Okay, Karen. Okay.
You were wrong.
Okay, Karen.
Get off the train.
You were Karen. What are you talking about? You didn't
Get off the train.
What?
He fucking assaulted me.
You wouldn't move.
Not really. Bye. Just a lie.
Like, you were Karen. You should have Karen.
I just most recently had a significantly older Caucasian woman try to pull the she's an aggressive black woman and the Caucasian woman tears on me, and it backfired on her. Now, one thing about me that I have learned in my 12 plus years of working for anybody is that even though I am a very proud, self-proclaimed misandrist for the most part, because look at the patriarchy, one thing that I will say that is consistent is that when it comes to my working environments, I'm only ever safe where there's a male that is in charge.
Welcome back once again to my share commentary. I hope we all are doing good. People online are calling it out again, the way some white women weaponize their tears. 1 minute they are being held accountable, and the next minute they have flipped the script and suddenly become the victim. Black rhetoric say is an emotional manipulation, a tactic used to silence, to deter, and to protect the privileged. Videos of white women faking cries online and TikTok has fueled a serious conversation, proving how quickly those tears can shift from an entire narrative. While we dive straight into the video, if you are seeing this video for the first time, please do well to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Tell us what you think about the video in the comment section. Follow us for more videos like this to pop up your screen about what is happening in the country. Like and share the video to help the channel out. You're welcome.
One of the most dangerous demographics to cause harm against black bodies, especially black men in America, is historically white women.
You don't need to fucking flip me off. It's assault. Fuck you. Jesus Christ, you fucking assaulted me.
You wouldn't move your feet.
You were sleeping. You wouldn't move your feet.
That's you.
I have to go home. I'm tired.
Too bad. Girl, get off the train. Come on.
He fucking assaulted me.
You wouldn't move.
White women's words hold the weight of the world when it comes to America. And white women weaponize white women tears because they understand that within the hierarchy of this country, white women are still above black men, and anything a white woman says will be taken at face value over a black man. This woman had her feet up on the seat, and the man was trying to sit down, and she refused to move. And he asked her politely 4 or 5 times, and he just moved her feet and he sat down. This happens to be the New Jersey Transit, so I don't even know why she would act like this, because people there don't play around. But that's neither here nor there. The point of the story is that once the train conductor came, she then cried assault, and saying a word like assault against a black man as a white woman, and then starting to be hysteric and using fake tears, that historically and today can cause violence, can cause that man being arrested, can cause him being harmed, can cause him to be lynched, can cause a barrage of things to happen to him. Thank God the entire train car around her was like, nah, sis, like, you were the one that fucked up. You were the one in the wrong. Don't cry tears now. Don't cry assault. And it's just something that comes with the territory of being black in America, where you have a demographic like white women who are astutely aware of where they fall in place in the hierarchy of race, importance, and victimization, and how that victimization can be weaponized at their will against black people. This is why you have white women who think they're the managers of the world. They call the cops on police. They call the cops on black people for having joy, or us barbecuing in the park, or us existing in our own spaces. But this video was just a reminder that no matter where we are in our timeline of history, it may be 2025, and granted that won't get someone lynched. If they weren't in the New York, New Jersey area, and they were somewhere in the deep south and that happened, Who knows what would have happened to that man? Country loves to say and act as if we're in a post-racial world and that Obama is the reason that race is happening. What Donald Trump did in 2016 and what he's doing now is he's taken the shades off of this country and the lens off of what a lot of people have always had, which is the white hood. That has never gone anywhere. There was just an era of decorum that had to be had in order for white people to be considered good people. But now that's completely out the window.
Hannah Berner weaponizes her tears in a very classic tale as old as time white woman way. And I'm positive she's going to go on Giggly Squad next week or whenever the episode comes out. And she's going to cry about how embarrassed she is that she is getting dragged online. And the gigglers are going to defend her and they're going to be in the comments being like, you guys just don't understand her personality. And everybody's going to forget about this in a week. But as somebody who stands Summer House and hates Kyle and also hates Hannah, I will not be forgetting this. Hannah Berner getting dragged online is my favorite thing in the world because I have the opposite of a soft spot in my heart for white women who use their tears as weapons to get out of accountability for their actions, which is all Hannah Berner does, as seen on every season of Summer House she's on.
Okay, white women. Let's talk about white women tears and why emotional regulation is ally work, is anti-racist work. So the first thing we need to understand about human behavior is that when someone's witnessing an interaction and they don't know every person in that interaction personally, they rely on stereotypes to understand what's going on. And that's a totally normal and natural thing that humans do. It's how we make sense of the world. But it does become harmful when those stereotypes are harmful. The other thing we need to talk about is called the drama triangle. And this is a framework that was proposed by a psychologist named Stephen Cartman in the 60s, and it's still really applicable today. It talks about the 3 roles that people get cast into in these types of dysfunctional interactions, and it can be really helpful to understand what's going on. So the first role is that of the victim. This is the person who is perceived as having been wronged. The second point of the triangle is the persecutor. It's the person who is perceived as having wronged the victim. And then the third role is the rescuer. It's the person who swoops in to save the victim from the persecutor. And so when we, as white women, are having some sort of public interaction with a black person, whether that's in person or online, and we begin to cry, regardless of our individual reasons for crying, we'll get to those in a minute, but they don't matter here because it becomes bigger than us. When we begin to cry, we have automatically cast ourselves in the role of the victim, regardless of what our intention was. And if we are the victim, then the person who quote unquote made us cry is the persecutor. And it's way too easy to cast black folk in that role because we have these cultural stereotypes of the angry black man and the angry black woman. And so now we have a victim and we have a persecutor, so there's going to be a rescuer that swoops in to save the day. And this is where it becomes dangerous because we give a lot of leeway to these heroes that swoop in to save us from our alleged persecutors. And so this is the work that we have to do, to be able not to cry when someone challenges us, when we're uncomfortable, when we're told no or someone sets a boundary with us, when they use words or phrases or tones that we don't like or make us uncomfortable. And these are the things we have to tackle personally because the reasons that we cry are personal to all of us. A lot of us get really upset when someone says no or sets a boundary because we're not saying no and we're not setting boundaries in the situations that we need to be setting them in our own lives. We get upset when we perceive anger from someone else, regardless of whether they're angry or not, because someone else's anger in our past was dangerous to us, whether emotionally or physically. And we get upset at someone's tone or the words that they use because at some point in our lives, our tone and our words were so policed. And so these are the things that we have to tackle individually in ourselves so that when we're having some sort of public interaction, we don't become so overwhelmed that we begin to cry, because then we get cast into these roles and no meaningful dialogue can happen. And so if you realize that you've done this in the past, it's uncomfortable. You may not have meant to, but it still happened. And there can be guilt and shame that come with that. And those are things we have to learn to sit with too. But when you know better, you do better. And the best apology you can make is to actually change your behavior, to process those emotions so that we don't do this again, so that we really do better.
I just most recently had a significantly older Caucasian woman try to pull she's an aggressive black woman, and the Caucasian woman tears on me, and it backfired on her. Now, one thing about me that I have learned in my 12 plus years of working for anybody is that even though I am a very proud, self-proclaimed misandrist for the most part, because look the patriarchy, one thing that I will say that is consistent is that when it comes to my working environments, I'm only ever safe where there's a male that is in charge or many men in charge. I will never ever again work under somebody that is a woman or that has more authority over me as a woman when they're a white woman, especially. But so I am a server / bartender at this restaurant. I'm finally out of retail, thank God. Story time another time on that one because it's very juicy. But I've been at this place this is my 3rd month now. And and as a server, for a lot of you that have or have not served before, we are required to do a certain amount of tasks fully before we are allowed to leave. Now, every server is required to get a signature from 2 closers at least to show to the management at the end of the day with the report to validate, like, hey, I've done my outwork correctly. I'm allowed to cash out for the night and clock out. Lately, the management and I, all of the management and I, which 3/4 of the management happen to be men, Caucasian men, and I have collaborated recently on the lack of accountability and just full unwillingness to execute any of the server jobs that they're supposed to do, from side work during the shift to outwork at the end of the shift. And I grew more than tired of it. So my management and I decided that people have been getting over on other closers for way too long without rolling any silverware throughout the shift. Now, my company allegedly has this weird labor law thing where they don't want anybody rolling any type of silverware if they're not getting paid minimum wage. So the servers have been exploiting this for way too freaking long. So what they do is they come in and lollygag and stand around until we get busy enough to have an excuse to not be rolling or doing any side work at all, or starting on their artwork out, or even starting on their outwork appropriately at all. And so then they just get to go home because after their very last table, our labor laws allegedly say, hey, once your last table leaves, you got to go home. You can't do any more work if you're not getting paid minimum wage, because otherwise our management would have to clock us out as a server / bartender and clock us back in for training, hourly wage, whatever, which is obviously what company's going to want to do that, especially management, right? Because it takes more time. So the servers have been exploiting this. I don't let that shit slide because I have worked way too many shifts with these people in my 3 months being in this company without freaking silverware being available. Our job is easy as hell. I'm not going to validate being a server having its complications. Most of the complications are honestly socially because people can be freaking terrible, absolutely terrible and draining. But in the grand scheme of things, we're not neuroscientists. We're not saving any lives. We're just feeding you your chicken, beef, and seafood. That's it. And we have responsibilities in between from what you see behind the scenes. That's it. Our job is not that hard. So I should not be having to work a very, very full capacity shift on weekends where I don't have silverware and I am having a full section sat, and then I can't even ring in my orders. So everything gets backed up. The kitchen gets backed up. The bar gets backed up. The appetizers get backed up. The host gets backed up. The door gets backed up because nothing is available to us. We have no resources because servers just want to fuck around, and I'm tired of it. So as I mentioned, my management and I had a nice little talk about this, and we all decided that as the closing responsibility, we are going to make sure people roll. You're going to roll before your last table leaves, and it's going to get done regardless. So the other night I was closing, and I was going around asking all the servers, if you did a double, did you roll 2 bins today? Yes, no, do another one. If you were only here for a dinner shift, I need you to do your rolling. I pay attention to see who rolls throughout the shift, and I write it down because you're not going to get over me. Our job's easy as fuck. I'm very, very extremely professional with the way I engage people because, again, I know what I look like And I know that people are just looking for an excuse to try to lie on me like a bitch did in my last job, but story time on that one. So anyway, so I'm very careful with my choice of words. I'm very careful with my intonation. I'm very careful with my demeanor. So as I'm asking people around, we have this much older Caucasian lady that is hearing me going around the room, ensuring that people are doing their job correctly, or ensuring that people are doing their duties before they leave. So then I turn to her and I ask, so-and-so, have you had time to roll your silverware yet? Your bin is not up here. And she crashes the fuck out on me in front of everybody. And it felt very validating to see the response on everybody's face as she's losing her shit. She goes, don't even ask me any questions. Don't even ask me all that, okay? You've been here for what, like 2 days? And you think you can just boss everybody around? You don't tell us what to do and how to do our jobs. You haven't even been here long enough. And so then I just look at her with no emotion because I'm the queen of knowing how to deal with dysregulated people. I just look at her and I said, okay, you got your feelings out. You've been heard. I'm not here to boss you around. I'm just here to execute my job because nobody is going to tell me that I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So then she goes to my manager and starts attempting to exploit her Caucasian tears and goes, she didn't know that I was around the corner hearing this, which was really funny because I was coming out of the kitchen and my manager's desk is quite literally like right before the kitchen goes in their office. So she goes, you're going to have to do something about Jasmine. She is in there bossing everybody around. And I just feel like she came at me and attacked me all sorts of way. And she should not get away with treating me that way and speaking to me like that, you know, over silverware. Like I have to go. And I don't know why you guys let her get away with this kind of stuff. And my manager, Caucasian male, mind you, looks at her and he goes, she's doing her job. I know everybody got way too used to being too lax, getting away with not doing their job. But this is the standard. Roll your silverware. And so guess who was made to stay another 45 minutes to roll? Did it have to take 45 minutes? No. But because she's dysregulated and emotionally mature, she made sure to take her sweet ass time and bitch to other people in the vicinity that would hear her about it. But it was very validating because the servers that were around to hear her crash the fuck out literally looked at me and were like, that was unnecessary. And so yeah. So this was very validating because it's making me rethink back to what happened to me in my last job where this lying ass bitch lied to me and defamed my character to our manager that cost me my job. And then I realized that this is why I can't work for women. And the thing is, I'm a big feminist. I love women. But white women, the obsession y'all have with trying to defame and trying to harm and lie on black women is given psychopathy, and your white tears are only going to get you so far because not many of you realize that you're dealing with somebody like me in most of these spaces. You don't want to try to fuck us around when there's a man in the room because 9 times out of 10, in my experience 10 times out of 10, we are going to be protected. Because a lot of these men are onto your bullshit. So stop the crocodile tears and get some help. The obsession's weird.
Yo guys, welcome back and thank you for watching the video. So this is a serious conversation that is going viral online. People are calling how the white women choose to weaponize their tears, especially against the black people. For decades, some white women have used tears to shift blame, avoid accountability, or gain sympathy, turning themselves into potential victims when being challenged. Black Tag says that this is not just about manipulation, that it is political, how they have used tears to recenter and reclaim power, control, and attention around whiteness while silencing black voices. I really appreciate you for watching the video, and like I said before, if you are seeing this video for the first time, please do well to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Tell us what you think about the video in the comment section. Please like and share the video to help the channel out. You're welcome.